Yes, thank you for listening to that beautiful song. It's very moving to think about that title, Time to Say Goodbye. And as I looked at the lyrics, it's very much a song about I'm saying goodbye, but you're still with me, and we still have places to go together because you will always be with me. And how appropriate to think about Joe in that way. Now we're going to take some time. We're going to have a couple people share, and then we're going to open it up to everyone to share. We'll start with Judge Halpern to say a few words.
If you can get up.
Thank you. Joe and I became friends over coffee. Those of you who know him know that he loved nothing else in the world other than his family than having coffee with a friend or friends and talking about interesting things that had happened to him, cases, judges, some of you. We did it regularly, mostly at Bread and Chocolate, an establishment on Upper Connecticut Avenue that has pretty good coffee. Joe knew the owners, so they didn't hurry us along, and we could stay there a while and yet refill the cups of coffee. About 20 years ago, I think it was, Joe and I decided to go to Japan. You say, why? There's Bethesda. I'm not sure this is right. Leith may know. I think Joe and Leith's son David was there, and that gave him a reason to go. My son was in Nagoya teaching English. Joe had spent his college days in Tokyo, and it seemed like the right thing to do. So we got a cheap flight on Korean Airlines. This was before the Russians shot one of the cheap flights down. So otherwise we would have probably spent a little bit more. And we got to Tokyo, stayed with some friends of ours, of Linda's and mine, who lived in the western part of Tokyo in an area called Zenpakuji-koen. Koen is the Japanese word for park. And nice small house. One day, we decided, Joe and I, to test our ability to use transportation system in Tokyo and go to the Ginza. Now the Ginza is a famous thoroughfare in Tokyo. Fashionable stores, great cafes, a lot of tourists, and it really doesn't matter too much if you don't speak Japanese. It was very crowded, and it was a nice day, and we went and sat at an outdoor table, ordered coffee. There were 4 chairs, and we sat next to each other. And after about 5 or 10 minutes, this strikingly good-looking lady carrying many boxes that she had obviously just bought came and sat down. Didn't ask to sit down, didn't look at us. Joe, as you all know, was the most gregarious of people, and so he immediately attempted to get her into some kind of conversation. She wouldn't look at him, wouldn't look at me. I don't think she would look at any gaijin. Now that's the Japanese, the slightly pejorative Japanese word for English-speaking person generally thought to be American. Joe's getting very frustrated now. Nobody's ever rebuffed him in this way. Look at him, won't talk to him. Finally, she's apparently had enough or recovered her strength to carry on with whatever she was doing that day, and she got up and walked away. And during all of this, I'm not saying a word and I am laughing. because I know Joe is getting very upset. And every time, not every time, but many times in ensuing years when things did not go his way as well as they should, I would remind him of that incident in Tokyo, and we would all get a chuckle out of it. I don't know what happened to the lady. She's gone.
How about the boxes?
She took them, and they were maybe 4 or 5, large. I think a little cumbersome to carry. We should have offered to carry them, but I didn't want to carry them. On a more serious note, one of the last coffee sessions we had, Joe and I, we had a conversation. By then, he knew his diagnosis, and he knew what the ultimate prognosis was going to be, the ultimate ending. But he was in good humor, smiling as always. And he said, and I don't remember exactly how the conversation went, but I remember this. He said, you know, I've had a pretty good life. I've got a wonderful family, nice house, nice car, good job. I like the people I work with. I like even some of the people I go before. And I've lived over 70 years, over the 70 that the Bible gives you. So I'm really not too upset by this conclusion, except that I want to be able to make it to Rochelle's wedding. And he did. And it was a lovely affair, and he had a very good time. And a short time thereafter, what happened, what was inevitably going to happen, happened. And that's why we're all here today. Joe was a very sweet guy. A good lawyer, but more than that, a wonderful family man. Anybody who knew him liked him, will miss him. I'll miss him. I'll miss those coffee sessions. Farewell, Joe. You did well.
Thank you, Judge Halpern.
No H.
No, it's
No H.
out. Okay. And now we have a friend and neighbor, Miss Martha Gibbons.